All right, a shocking jobs report, rising inflation, and gas prices that are already $1 higher than they were at this time a year ago. The national average for a gallon of gas right now, $3.10 as you wake up on this Monday morning. This as Joe Biden enters his 5th month in office. And joining us now for more on all of this is Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson. Congressman, good morning. Nice to see you again.
Morning, Rob. Great to be with you.
I'll tell you what, the left has somehow managed to paint the terrorist group Hamas as sympathetic, Congressman. This was on the Sunday shows. I kept hearing this. It's kind of vile to hear it actually play out. But Democrats in the House also blocked $730+ million in funding, which would have helped replenish the Iron Dome defense system, which was key throughout the previous 11 days when the two sides were fighting Hamas and Israel. Do you expect the administration or somebody to step in and make sure they get the money that they need?
Boy, I hope so. The administration has only weakly condemned the violence against Israel, and it's been so frustrating to Republicans in Congress because we've been calling this out for what it is. Israel obviously has a right and a desperate need to defend itself against these attacks, and yet our Democrat colleagues are so reluctant to acknowledge that. In fact, this administration has really put more energy into trying to get us back into the Iran deal, to give the largest state sponsor of terrorism a nuclear program than they have been to condemn Hamas and the terrorists who are doing this to Israel. Israel's our most important ally in that part of the world. You could argue our most important ally anywhere in the world. They need us and we need them, and we need to stand strong with that nation.
The administration, again, he took office on January 20th, so we're just over 4 months right now. We're careening from crisis to crisis. Many of these crises, as you just mentioned, are not being addressed. At what point do you think we start to see, especially in the House, Democrats who are running for re-election in really tight districts next year, at what point do we start to see, maybe not revolt, but at least some pushback?
Well, I think you're beginning to see some of that now. There's some resistance within their ranks, and there should be. Historically, we know that the first midterm election after a new president takes office, his party loses on average 28 to 29 seats in the House. As you know, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have a very razor-thin margin for their majority. It's the smallest in many, many decades. And so we're very positive about going into this election cycle. I think they're getting increasingly nervous about it, and that's what is beginning, I think, to cause the rift in their conference.
Congressman, the Democrats are pushing for that January 6th commission to investigate what happened at the Capitol in January. Democrats, they want this investigation to be a full, sweeping, almost 9/11 investigation. I know you didn't vote for this. 35 Republicans did. Is now not the right time for something like that?
No, I think the important thing to point out, Rob, is that we have multiple investigations going on right now. The Senate has 2 of its committees investigating. Of course, you have the law enforcement component, the FBI, and all the criminal investigations that are ongoing. 400 people have been arrested. There'll be indictments and all the rest. So all of the truth is going to come out. What Nancy Pelosi wanted to do with this commission is have a hyper-partisan political exercise where they can drag this out and further divide the country in perpetuity if it's up to them. They want to lead it into this election cycle. We couldn't go along with that. We'll get the facts, but we need to do it in the appropriate manner.
Congressman, 2 more quick ones if I can squeeze these in. Louisiana, right on the border with the state of Texas. Are we at a place right now in this country? Kamala Harris 60 days ago was asked to manage the crisis. We all know she hasn't gone to the border, but are we at a place in this country where it's no longer illegal to cross the border illegally?
Well, look, if you talk to the people down around the border in this proximity, they'll tell you that seems to be true. We've had a record number of crossings since the Biden administration took over, and that's because neither the president nor the vice president, the so-called border czar, have had the time, apparently, to go down and see this for themselves. It is a crisis, a massive crisis for the country. They're not COVID testing anyone that comes in. As you know, everyone's heard the stories now. They've seen the video. They're taking them and sending them around the country. It's a serious problem that everybody ought to be concerned about.
It really is. And Congressman, I just want you to know we're thinking about everybody back in your home state. How's everybody doing? I know the weather's been terrible down there lately.
I tell you what, we feel like Job in the Old Testament down here. Louisianians are a very resilient people, but we do appreciate the prayers and those well wishes. It's been a tough cycle for us. Record hurricane season last year. Now we have flooding. Just seems to never end.
I know it. I've got a lot of family. My wife is from Louisiana, born and raised, so we've got a lot of family down there. We are certainly thinking about you guys. Congressman, I always enjoy having you on. We cover so much in such a short period of time. Pleasure to see you again, Congressman Mike Johnson. Good to see you.